Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Robert, and today I want to install ParrotOS on top of my Windows host. So to get started, I'm going to install Virtualbox, and then I'm going to download ParrotOS and install it. I'm going to put all the links in the description of the video, as well as timestamps so you can easily navigate. Before I get started, I'm going to hold down Ctrl, Shift, and Escape, and bring up my Task Manager. I'm going to go right into my performance menu or my resource menu, performance menu, look at my CPU and see that virtualization is enabled. If this is not enabled for you, you're going to want to look into what type of motherboard that you have and figure out how to go into your BIOS and enable virtualization so that you can install virtual machines on your Windows host or whatever operating system you are using. So for me, that's enabled. That's the first check we want to get through. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up a browser of your choice and use a search engine of your choice. Using Chrome means I'm going to be using Google. And I'm just going to type in VirtualBox. And I'll go ahead and throw VirtualBox download into there. Go to the downloads. And I'm going to download version 7.2.4 Windows host. Save it. And once this is done downloading, I'm going to click the installer. I got a pop-up for user account control. You probably cannot see this. In fact, I know you cannot see this, but I'm going to click yes and start the installation. Welcome to Oracle VirtualBox 7.2.4 installer. I'm going to click next. I'm going to accept the license agreement. I'm going to keep the defaults and select next. Warning, network disconnection. I'm going to say yes. Missing dependencies. It's missing some dependencies. I'm going to go ahead and click yes. And I'm going to keep all these boxes checked and click next, and then hit install. While that installs, I'm going to bring up my browser again, and I'm going to search for ParrotOS. And I'm going to go to download. I want to choose the live category, security edition, and AMD 64 architecture. And I'm going to click download and also save that into my downloads. That's going to take some time to download, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to open up VirtualBox. VirtualBox opens. Everything looks fine. However, in the past, I've tried to install virtual machines as soon as I've installed VirtualBox without rebooting the operating system, and I've run into many errors multiple times, enough to know that I should reboot my operating system. So I'm going to do that once my download is finished, and then I'll start recording again. So this will finish downloading. I'm going to reboot the operating system, come back up, and then we'll install ParrotOS into VirtualBox. All right, everything is finished downloading. I've rebooted my operating system. We are now ready to move on to the next phase of this, opening Oracle's VirtualBox and installing our virtual machine. So I'm going to select New. I'm going to name my VM Parrot Security. This folder is okay for me. The ISO image we are going to select. When you first do this, you might need to select Other. Navigate to where you downloaded the ISO, select it. Linux, Debian 64-bit. This is probably fine for the OS version. It probably works okay, but I'm going to go ahead and select Debian 13 Trixie. And then I'm going to navigate down to specify virtual hardware. And this is where we want to talk a little bit. I have all of these resources to allocate to my virtual machines, but this is going to be different for you. So I'm going to go ahead and go with 8 gigs of memory and 4 CPUs. But you'll need to determine what you want to allocate to your virtual machines depending on the resources that you have available. The minimum requirements for this are pretty minimal. However, I do know that it's recommended that you use about 4 CPUs and at least 4 gigs of memory. As well as hard disk space, you actually want to use over 20 gigs of hard disk space for this, which we'll get to next here. Because I have tried installing this with only 20 gigs, I've hit errors because the minimum recommended, I think, is 40 gigs for this. So we're going to at least go with 60 for this installation. you might be able to get away with 40, but you're not going to get away with 20 gigs. You'll probably run into an error. I ran into an error, so I know from experience. Okay, that looks good. We are going to hit finish. And then I'm just going to go into settings here. I'm going to make one more change. Or maybe two more changes. I'm going to uncheck floppy, move that down because I don't use a floppy drive. You don't have to do this though. It doesn't matter either way. And then display, this should be fine. Although I want this to be full screen, so I'm going to change this to VBoxSVGA and hit OK. Go back into settings. Take a look at network. It looks like we're attached to NAT. So these settings should be okay. If I run into any issues though, I can come back into the settings and make modifications after we try. Let's go ahead and just start this and see if it works. I'm going to go ahead and click try install. And we are inside of our ParrotOS desktop. I'm going to run the install script now. Parrot 7.0 Echo, American English works for me. I'm going to choose a central time zone, Chicago. I'm going to keep the default keyboard layout. I'm going to select to erase disk, no swap. That looks okay for me. And then I'm going to pick my username. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to change this to Parrot OS and select a password. Make sure they match. Make sure they're secure. Next. And just look this over. Everything looks okay to me. I'm going to scroll down. And it looks like I can't navigate to. So if you see that problem where you don't see the buttons, just minimize and maximize again, and you should be able to see them. I'm going to do the install now. And this is going to take some time to install, so I will come back when this is finished. All right, that took some time to finish, but we are done. Our next step is to restart. So we're going to click done and allow this to restart. And upon restarting, I'm back at the screen to try and install, which is what we do not want. So machine. I'm going to try to send a shutdown signal. It looks like I can't send the shutdown signal, so I'm just going to go in. We're going to go in and just shut it down. And then I'm going to unmount the installer, and we should be fine from there. Taking a little bit of time to boot into the non-persistent version. Okay, maybe that did something. Was this locked up? Okay. Can we shut this down? We're going to power off the machine. Unfortunately, I had to do it that way. Let's go into our settings. And we're going to go over to storage. And we need to unmount this or remove the attachment. Remove it. And then in display, this should be fine. I think it was causing us some issues that I changed it early, but it should end up being okay. I'm going to turn up my video memory and hit OK. But let's start it and make sure. So I might have to revert my video settings back. So it looks like it's loading okay. And it looks like it went full screen for us. Okay, so we have our login screen. We can go ahead and log in for the first time. And we're in. My next steps would then be to update and make any modifications to my preference. But hopefully this helps you in seeing some of the issues that I've encountered in doing the installation. Maybe not the smartest thing to change the video before you even get in. Maybe you should get into Parrot Security and then make those changes. But the real hiccup there was that I had to unmount the ISO file to get into the persistent volume that I've set up. So anyway, we're in. Now we're able to use this to do some labs or whatever we choose to use it for. Hopefully something good and hopefully to continue to learn. I hope you liked the video and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching.